Okay, how are our mics?
Today I'm so excited. I have Steve Sigel with me, and I've known Steve probably about the time I moved to Connecticut in 1996. So Steve is the executive director of the Arts Theater, the Arts Center, and the Garde Arts is really kind of the meeting place for so many people to see the movies that are currently showing, the symphony, music, live music. It's a community, it's a hub, there's an educational component to it, so much going on. So happy that Steve, you're here with me today.
Oh, I'm so glad you invited me.
Oh, thank you so much. So now, I don't know, what should we start with? There's so much to talk about. The mission of the Garde, I think, is phenomenal. To protect, to operate, to enhance, to present top quality art, movies, organizational type opportunities, foster community, educational opportunities, strengthen community. You do all of that, and you do it so seamlessly.
Yes.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, we don't sell shoes.
Maybe that's
I was thinking, what's missing?
Yeah, what is missing? But you know, people come with their products, right? They have the shirts and the art that you have. I think is so beautiful.
That's
that
right. You know, we sell shirts. We do. Thank you. We sell shirts, hats, and mugs, and pencils.
Okay.
And stickers. Yes.
Oh, so you do have some commercial opportunities.
And we do sell art. You're right. We have some wonderful local artists who festoon our lobbies with their unique, local work.
And they're generous. They say 20%, sometimes 30,
they're big,
10, whatever.
They're big supporters of the Garde, and we're big supporters of them. And, you know, as an art center, the visual arts are certainly...
That's part of it.
Yes, you know.
That's part of it,
Of course, the performing arts are visual, so it all comes together.
Of course.
We even have the culinary arts.
I didn't know that.
We have some of the greatest caterers in the region coming to provide, refreshments and noshes for memorial services, graduations, private parties. Recently had a wedding, So yeah, we love engaging the restaurateurs and catering establishments.
Oh, I didn't realize you did all that. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I loved it how your wife had a birthday the other day, and there was a big happy birthday genie up there.
Yes. So our marquee has been a wonderful way for the community to talk to each other all throughout COVID. The marquee was a place where messages could be placed by whoever wanted to, and they were often celebratory, they could be informative, and sometimes very entertaining, sometimes very, very somber right now.
You have Ukraine up there, and our hearts, my next door neighbor is from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So she's been calling back, checking on family there to see how they are doing.
Are they still in the country?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, I have to check back with her. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
They might be in Czechoslovakia or Poland by now. We don't know.
No.
So, yeah. Our hearts go out to them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So if theater in any way can help unite people, alert people, inspire people, that's part of our job to do that.
Well, tell me about yourself, Steve. When did you come to the Garde? Because that's pretty much how I've known you, is your work with the Garde.
Right, and I think I came here before you did. I came here in '88.
Okay.
Came here from the Berkshires, the Berkshire Theater Festival. I was the managing director of that. And then I was intrigued by this ad in this community I'd never really heard of, New London, and they had this really big theater that was pretty much empty and looking for a future. And it was a newly created organization, a nonprofit, that had bought this building. And that organization was the Garde Arts Center, and they had purchased the Garde Theater, which when it was built in 1926, had about a 50-year life as a major downtown movie theater.
And when we first moved here, I went to the movies, and it was some of the final shows, I think, before the $1 million renovations that went on and all of that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the history of the theater is is largely movies, but it's also live. It's what was called vaudeville at the time, basically variety acts in between movies. And back in the 20s, your ticket got you admission, not to see a movie, but to spend the entire day, because you would see newsreels. Sometimes this was the most informative way for people to learn about and literally see what was happening around the world. The films had subtitles because they were silent, so they were subtitles, not because they were foreign, it's because there was no language, so they would have slides of what the characters were saying in between, you know, the images. And a lot of immigrants learned how to help read, and they learned, of course, as time went on, they learned whatever the American, you know, popular culture was telling them about how to behave, dining etiquette, how you dress up for different occasions, what slang to use, and all the mores of American culture, which, in fact, there are none. They're constantly evolving. You know, you know, but
and it depends upon where you are, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
with whom you are associating.
Right. And so, you know, the movies were the great vehicle to create broadband, a huge mass media communication tool. The theaters were the television living rooms of the 20s and 30s and 40s.
Sure.
Until 1948 or 49, I think, was the year in which television just took off.
Right.
And
we all remember our first television set, of course, right?
And that really contributed to the decline, a significant decline in regular movie attendance, because now you had something in your home, so you didn't necessarily, for entertainment, have to go to a theater. Now, you still weren't able to see movies in 1948, 40, in the early days, but then they started showing the old movies, and then they started showing recent movies. And then, as a result of all this technology, by, you know, in the mid-1970s, a lot of these downtown movie palaces were too big and could no longer sustain themselves. They were, by and large, pretty much all commercial businesses. And so when the businesses declined, they left the building, and in many cases, these beautiful movie palaces, like the Garde, were torn down. Fortunately, in this community, it was maintained. It was a determined local network of folks who were very reluctant of having the Garde turn into potentially a parking lot or some commercial building.
And that would have been a travesty, I think, if that had happened.
Yeah, well, imagine New London without the Garde, but also think about New London had 7 theaters at one point.
Oh, sure.
And the fact that it only has 1. There is no commercial movie theater in the entire city of New London. It all went to the suburbs, which is really what happened to popular entertainment. It sort of moved to the suburbs, the ability to access it, moved to your home. Air conditioning used to be a huge draw.
Sure.
You would go to the movies or you go to Macy's to go shopping, but really to get out of the summer sun
heat,
and then home air conditioning, huge impact on theater attendance.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
So all these amenities, this technology that still evolves, we see in fact today. Because, you know, I could now see a movie on
your phone.
On this device.
And it's so small. You don't get quite the detail and the subtitles and all that you might have otherwise.
I think more importantly, you don't have a shared experience, because the danger of technology is that ultimately it wants to talk to you and you alone, so it can sell you stuff. Fundamentally.
So then we're back to our initial statement of community and how you build community and why community is so important.
Absolutely. So it's interesting that the technology that brought community together in the 20s, as that grew, that was the technology that basically fragmented community, if not totally dissolved it. I mean, there are people, I'm sure you and I know, who haven't gone to a movie theater in years and they don't really need to because they have Netflix or
well,
you
that's
know.
partially why I wanted to have you
Yeah.
come and talk today, because it's so important for people to come out, to support the arts, to support our theaters, to support the actors and all of the work that goes behind the scenes, and to know that it is open, the theaters are open. So tell me, what are some of the great things that you have going on at the Garde right
I'm
now?
going to look at my cheat sheet here
because I know Robert Clay, is that
Robert Cray. We
is-
have the great blues musician who was, according to the day newspapers, become kind of our house band. Robert has been with us, I don't know.
number of times.
Yeah, about five times previously, I think. So one of the great American blues artists, and he'll be here on Friday night. And by the way, what's interesting is that that's the first event we've had since March of 2020 where we are saying that masks are optional.
Optional, okay.
But we'll get to that in a second. And then we're in the middle of the Breeze Line Winter Cinema Series, which used to be the Atlantic Broadband Cinema Series.
Right.
And the movie system we have, which was installed in I think 2014, is a state-of-the-art commercial surround sound digital 4K digital. Yeah,
it's a
system.
big deal.
And on the Garde's giant screen.
Yes.
So what's fascinating about seeing a movie at the Garde is that you're seeing movies in a place that was built
for that
just
purpose.
that. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
And so there's this historic resonance, but there's also the aesthetic appeal of the restored, Mid-Eastern decor and just all the glory of the space. And we've had some cases up to 1,000 people watching a movie. I think the average attendance in a movie, it's probably changed since COVID, but prior to COVID, I think may have been like 30 people because there's all these little shoebox, multi-screen, buildings that have,
they've split up.
Yeah, and they have bigger seats, lounge chair seats.
Like in Waterford.
Yeah, so fewer capacity. But I would encourage people to see. We tend to do Oscar-nominated films.
And that's nice. That's really nice.
So we're doing Dune this Saturday, and we have other Oscar-nominated best films such as Don't Look Up and Tick, Tick, Boom. And we're also doing Cyrano, and we have Spider-Man, and we're probably adding one or two that we haven't announced publicly yet. So we have those movies. At the same time, we have the great retro. This is one of the fun nights when you get to see the Postmodern Jukebox, which is basically a YouTube band that was such an incredible hit online that they now tour the nation, if not the world. And these are really top-rate jazz and contemporary music players and tap dancers, and a lot of what they do is they'll take modern songs and they'll do it like in a 20s speakeasy kind of ambiance.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun. It's a very upbeat evening, and we're doing that with March 25. And then we have a return of the High Kings, the Irish singing group.
Looking forward
They're
to
back
that.
for the third time, and we present that with the Katharine Hepburn Cultural Arts Center in Old Saybrook.
And I was going to ask you about that. I really like how you collaborate. You and Brett Elliott must be friends.
Yes,
so
yes.
The two of you kind of work together and
Absolutely.
bring in some of the same artists because the venues are so different. You're, what is it, 1,400 seats, 1,420, something like that. And then theirs is like 175. So the feeling between the two venues is quite different.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience. And Brett approached us before COVID with the High Kings, in fact, because he wanted to bring them back, but they were selling too many tickets. So he said, why don't we do it,
nice problem.
at the Garde together.
Nice.
So we're also doing together, I think, I know, we're doing Madeleine Peyrou, and Joan Osborne. I'm looking at the date here on May 13th. So we're presenting that with the Kate as well. Two really wonderful contemporary vocalists. And we also have new events in our Oasis room, which is 110
20
seat.
people, 110?
Yeah, around then. And we're doing the local band, the Carlines, will be there.
Oh, I think I've heard them before.
Yeah, they're a joyful, fun group.
Nice.
And then we have something called Speed Dating Live.
Oh, wow.
Which
that should be
I have no
interesting.
idea what it is because it's premiering. We're sort of producing it with some of our.
So are you looking for 20-something, 30-something people, or people who are interested in
yeah,
dating
basically you can
again?
go online.
Yeah.
You could come and watch speed dates occur on our Garde stage. There'll be, we don't know how many couples, but it'll be a full evening's worth. And if you would like to meet someone new in front of a gawking audience on the Oasis Room stage, you can sign up on Speeding Date Live on our website. So it's just meant to be a hoot.
You know, just
I
have
mean,
fun.
it's just, it's a ridiculous idea,
Yep.
which is why you have to do it.
Exactly, exactly.
We're also, when I think of local performers, we're blessed to having the Coast Guard Band here and some of the finest musicians.
Yes.
And so there's
They usually do Leamy Hall, right? But they come over.
Well, in this, they also perform in the Eastern Connecticut Symphony.
Sure,
Who will
yeah.
They have a concert here next week, by the way. But they also perform in other ensembles, including the New London Big Band, which was performing pretty frequently at the Social on Bank Street in downtown New London. And so the full band, 20-some musicians and vocalists are going to premiere a recording of, it's their first studio recorded album. So they'll be featuring songs from that album and having an album release concert at the Garde.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, in April. And then another event in our Oasis room is an improv group. And it's called Bring Your Own Improv.
I've met them.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, they're great.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah. Well, I did an improv class for a while.
You did?
Yeah, I was part of a LaughWorks group.
Oh, well, then you've got to be there.
Yes,
It's April 10th, and it's also a fundraiser for the Bradley School, which has several satellite facilities in Rhode Island and Connecticut.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know the Bradley School, so that's...
Yeah.
So you're part of fundraising, too, and you support all other things, like the Storytelling Center.
Yeah, the Connecticut Storytelling Center will be having their first post-COVID event in April, that's right. And yeah, we very much look to find ways of supporting, resident organizations and individual artists. We want to reflect and support and showcase the talent, the great talent that is in our region. And it's really, we're a regional organization. New London's only got 28,000 people and 6 square miles. The theater that we have is as big as the Schubert Theater in New Haven. So, the community that we serve geographically is quite far-flung, and it goes, primarily, I would say, to Madison, all the way up past
the quiet
Norwich,
corner, yep.
over into Rhode Island, past Westerly. So,
So you're a big draw. You're a big draw for the area.
Yeah, and depending upon the artist, we have people coming from. You'd be surprised. We have people.
Well, from Ireland, for one thing.
Yeah,
some of your Irish artists.
Yes, yep.
I don't know where else in the Europe or across the country. Yeah, people come from all over.
Yeah.
And they, you put it on the map, and people come. They return, and it's all good.
Yeah, we hope that when people come to the theater, they're seeing more than an event that they like. They're seeing a downtown that's curious and inviting, and has the kind of amenities that we hope all cities to have. As we come out of COVID, I mean, we're highly focused on what we can do to support and regenerate business for those establishments that survived COVID, as well as what will be a number of new eateries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you how you support it, because you've got just right across the street from you a new brew pub, right?
We have a Draft Choice, yep. And then
Tony D's
is very popular.
Door.
And right behind us is a great restaurant, La Luna, which is in the Holiday Inn. It's an independent restaurant. It's a wonderful, wonderful facility. And then there's, everything from hot rods to,
some Thai restaurants.
Cinnamon Grill. Yes, I mean, there's going to be new establishments. Let me just say that.
Oh, really?
There's be new ones.
You're
I can't say what because I don't want to steal their thunder. And I'm not sure exactly when some of these places will be open.
Well, that's good. Your ears to the ground.
And
you can kind of.
We're very much part of the city's efforts for ongoing development. We have staff.
Well, I saw Mayor Passero there the other night.
He's one of our biggest fans, especially for movies. But we're involved in the cultural
coalition,
cultural commission. There's now a cultural district commission for New London. Certainly, the Southeastern Connecticut Cultural Coalition, the city center district, which is a downtown business improvement district. Any way that we can, the New London Arts Council, I can go to New London Landmarks. There's lots of great grassroots organizations.
And you're so busy.
We have to connect with each other.
You have to. It's all about connection,
yeah,
right?
it is.
It's all about connection and then the schools, to that educational component. Tell me a little bit about that, Steve, how that has worked, because I know that you were involved with the Isaac School. Was it that?
Yes. The Isaac School is in the Garde, not completely, but it has two classrooms that are two of our storefronts on State Street. During COVID, we housed numerous young folks in a partnership with the public schools in the city to provide a space for kids in a hybrid setting where they would go to school for 2 days and stay home for 3, whatever the story was. But these were often kids who couldn't go home because no one was home, nor was there guaranteed internet access.
Sure.
So we had learning pods in our lobbies for kids to come.
I didn't understand that. So 5 days a week, the kids were out of their house.
In the early days of COVID, they were on and off.
Right.
They were like 3 days and then 2 days off.
Right.
So the 2 days off, they were still learning, but they could be learning from the home. Well, if no one was home, they couldn't just hang out there, nor could they do their online learning. So that occurred at the Garde.
So 5 days a week, they were out of their homes and they were learning, but just in different locations each time.
That's right.
That is so amazing.
Ocean Beach also provided space for
That's
off
really
days.
Nice.
Yeah. It was essential. I mean, it's been fascinating to watch the young folks. We have a new department of youth and community engagement that we started during COVID, and it's headed up by former city councilor Curtis Goodwin, who we know from really the New London Talent Show, which started at the Garde about 11 and a half years ago or so.
Speaking of talent, now aren't you a violinist? Don't you an accomplished?
Well, I accomplish.
Go ahead, Steve.
I accomplish to find time to stay in relative
really?
a good
so
shape.
You're still playing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Otherwise, I'd be very. I could have, but I didn't know if the mic quality was up to.
We'll have to do a really good sound check next time.
I didn't want to push your technology here.
There you go.
But no, seriously. So I as a matter of fact, I've performed with the New London Community Orchestra. They did a tribute recently for Martin Luther King on the Garde stage, just a few weeks ago, and I get to play around with some of the local folks.
Well, good for you.
I have, it mostly helps me understand what a lot of musicians go through. And
it's so much work. It's so much work behind the scenes, whether you're memorizing your lines or the music.
Well, and you have to determine whether it's a avocation or a vocation.
Sure.
For a lot of avocational musicians, they found a lot of work in rest homes and nursing facilities during COVID.
Sure.
I have a number of friends who've, have done, really
beautiful
brave
things,
work
yeah.
going into places where there was a lot of fear and anxiety and isolation. Often not even going in, playing outside on a lawn, all the open windows.
Serenading.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's been fascinating and sort of sad to watch. I think we're coming out of it because Robert Cray will be our first event where masks will become optional, largely because almost all of Connecticut is what CDC calls a green zone,
right.
which is the best zone you could be in, and it means you can relax some of your requirements as long as you don't have immunity considerations and you take care of yourself.
Well, you're still requiring proof of vaccination,
So right now we're providing proof of vaccination.
Along with some identification.
Yes, and we have folks who
check that. You have some security that does
yep.
that.
And it's been relatively safe. We haven't had any real drama there. But we do know that a significant number of folks don't want to go to the theater
right.
if there are restrictions. And these are primarily, by the way, people who are fully vaccinated and boosted. And it's just where we are right now in the pandemic. There's a sense of, okay, we can relax a little. And then there are some who won't come because we don't just allow anybody to come in,
Right.
So
right.
the fact that we have any restrictions, they find,
prohibitive
anathema. Yeah, they can't abide by that for some reason. But so it's very tough going. So as we reopen, we're going to find people going through their own level of social assessment, anxiety checking,
yep.
and just discovering, and there's no science to it. Unfortunately, there won't be a switch that'll be clicked and say, okay, COVID's gone, you can come out of your air raid shelter, you can walk the streets. It's going to be definitely a gradual experience, and if things get more problematic, if the public health conditions get more severe, then we certainly can go back to masking. We have a very supportive and understanding audience. Of course, at the Garde, we have incredible air conditioning.
The filter system is good.
It's
the sanitation is
good.
Well,
it's better than recommended, and we have these high ceilings.
Nice.
So it's an unusually safe space.
Nice.
Very good. And we have masks for free to hand out to anyone should they discover that they want one.
They don't feel comfortable,
yeah, without one. So.
Well, Steve, it's just been a complete pleasure having you here today.
Well,
so
it's always good to see you.
So good to see you.
It's good to see you at the Garde and outside of the Garde and in the studio.
Yes.
And,
thank you for your hard work. Congratulations on surviving this horrible pandemic.
And thank you for smiling and bringing people into your studio and showing the positive side of life.
There's a lot of good stuff happening, so thank you for being a part of that.
You bet.
Thank you.